With respect, today's interview is being conducted with audio and no video. With that being said, let's get into this. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Today's guest has been a singer and choreographer for the Golden Globes and has also done some theater with Bond alum Patti LaBelle and danced on a Michael Legrand TV special in France, as well as a Telly Savalas TV special. But most importantly, you may recognize her from 1971's Diamonds Are Forever as Thumper. So with that being said, let's send it over to Brian Levesque to welcome Trina Parks.
Trina, I want to say thank you for taking the time to do this interview with me. Sadly, this is the circumstances that we have to conduct these interviews today.
Yes.
And I want to say congrats on 50 years of Diamonds Are Forever, and you just recently celebrated a birthday. So happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm so proud, so glad to still be here to celebrate it. Celebrate such a wonderful experience that I had 50 years ago, which I can't even believe it has been.
Oh, I couldn't imagine
Really?
reliving those days, and especially when you had, of course, such a iconic Bond in course, Sir Sean Connery.
Right.
So I
Yes.
usually ask people how they got into James Bond, but with your circumstances, I'm going to ask what got you into dancing and theater, and let alone do some singing on the side?
Oh, well, actually, I started dancing, taking classes. My father, who was actually the lead tenor sax man for Cab Calloway, who if you all know, if anyone is listening that's maybe over 40, 50 that knows about Cab Calloway big band back in the 40s, and very, very well-known jazz band. My father was lead saxophonist for his band. He started with him in the late 40s to up to the early 60s, when bebop era started coming in around the 50s. So the big bands weren't as popular and didn't do as much touring and as much playing in different cities, except for New York. They really still kind of did performances. But my father was very much, of course, he also was very classical. He was trained in all the wind instruments and also played classical music. And I just always wanted to dance, as my father told me. My mother passed when I was born, and my father was with Cab in Chicago. So I was given to my aunt while my father was in Chicago, to finish out the tour. He did come in, for mommy's burial and all that. But when I was about 6 or so, he started taking me to ballet classes at the Brooklyn Academy of Music. But before that, he noticed I really just always danced. I always wanted to dance, as he told me, and as I've always felt. And I've always, taken classes there in music, and piano, and voice. And of course, from there, I went on to, from junior high school, I took some dance classes, but then I took the audition for the New York High School of Performing Arts, and actually, I took it for ballet, but at that time, and you're talking about 1961, they weren't accepting women, girls of my color at that time. which is, it's in New York, but still they had that slight prejudice of not having Black women, girls in the ballet department. But so I came back. I was asked to come back for the modern department, and the modern department was headed by the original dancers of Graham's company, and which I'm very proud to say that I was taught by the original dancers of Martha Graham. And also Martha Graham would sometimes come to the school periodically and teach master classes. But going back a little bit, of course, I came back for the modern audition, and I got the audition. And at that time, it was two, myself and another Black lady, and Ben Vereen, Jerry Grimes, and Winston Hemsley, 3 Black males, the most Blacks in the modern dance department ever. And that was 1962. Our class was 62 to 65. And my ex-husband, John Parks, was the only Black male in the dance department, in the modern department. So we kind of started the real ethnicity of bringing, other people of color into the dance. I just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah.
Slowly, which was a good thing. I was glad about. But my main thing is that I was taught by the greats of the modern dance. But going back a little bit, before that, before I went into performing arts or PA, I was dancing with Olatunji Babatunde's company, African dance company, during the summer in Harlem, New York. And so I had like the African training and the modern training. And so I had all of that training, and plus the ballet. And while I was in PA, my second year, I started going to the Catherine Dunham School. And Catherine Dunham was her technique was modern too in ballet, but base is Haitian. And so when I started, performing arts was on 46th and Broadway, and I would walk up to 42nd and 9th, where the Dunham School was, and take classes every few days a week. And so since I had that African in me and all the different techniques, it helped me to learn her technique very quickly. And Ms. Dunham asked me if I would like to join the company and perform at the Apollo Theater and with the company. And this was the last performance of the Dunham Company performed in the United States, and also the last performance Miss Dunham performed. And that was in 1964, and I was 15 at the time, and I was the youngest one in the company. But I did 2 pieces. The Shango, which was a big Haitian vintage type piece that Dunham is very, very much known for, and 1 small Cuban piece, and a trio, because I couldn't do any others, because I can only go to rehearsals basically on the weekends. So because of course I was still in school and I couldn't stay for night rehearsals, in the week. And so that was really a big thing for me to do that. And with that was Tito Puente, and Moms Mabley was the comedian. So the Dunham Company, Moms Mabley, and Tito Puente's band was on the bill for that. Then in 65, when I graduated, Dunham wanted me to come to Europe, and the Dunham Company was featured in a play in Paris for a year called Des Anges sont venus, Two Angels Have Come, with a very well-known actor, two actors. I'm trying to think of the names. I can't right now. At that time, they might still be alive, but I don't think so. So I was there for a year with them. And then when I came back, I joined the Ailey Company for a minute, Avon Ailey Company, Donnie McHale, Joffrey Holder, Elio Palmer, Tally Beatty, Anna Sokolow. Anna Sokolow was one of Martha Graham's original dancers. So I did a lot of different types of dance and was trained by some wonderful, wonderful choreographers in my time. And
Wow.
basically that's my, base of, and I made it really base brief, but of my career of dance. So when I, when I was with the Agency for the Performing Arts, actually, I had come to Los Angeles to do the movie Great White Hope. Donnie McHale, whose company I was in, I toured Europe, all over Europe, at Western and Eastern Europe within 66 when I came back with Dunham's company to 67. And so Donnie was choreographing Great White Hope. And so he asked if I'd like to come and do the movie. And that's what actually brought me to Los Angeles and to do Great White Hope with James Earl Jones. And I had worked with James Earl Jones in Emperor Jones. And we did a stint, like a special Broadway type performances on where they have not the specific run of the show. It's just like maybe for a couple of weeks or something like that. They have just to do the performance because we were scheduled to do the European tour. And so that's what I came to LA to do. And then I formed my own show, singing act, while I was there. I figured I was going to do that. And that's what brought me to do my own show, which I put jazz and, being taught by my father with classical music and I did a lot of Broadway. I skipped that, but I did Broadway and all that too. So I did Broadway tunes and jazz tunes and I put all that together with an act, and I performed at the Ye Little Club in Beverly Hills, and that's where I signed with the Agency for the Performing Arts, APA, and there we go. That's the agent who got the call about being them the Bond people. Being interested in wanting to see me for the role.
That's crazy how it's all made a circle over the years.
Yeah.
And especially, you got introduced to Jeffrey Holder at such a young age, which
Oh yeah,
Jeffrey Holder starred in Live and Let Die. And
right.
Then
Yeah.
of course,
And
you end up coming out to LA from Europe, and it's just, it's a whirlwind of craze to think about it.
It was, and I'm so blessed to have been around at that time because, really pretty much after my time, all the choreographers, either left, went out in different areas from New York and, did different things. Companies were disbanded or passed away. And of course, none of them are here now. Mm-hmm. But I got that training. I got all of that wonderful, wonderful training that can, it's all in me. That's especially with Miss Dunham, because Miss Dunham, when I was taking classes, I took ballet, and then of course I took the classes from her and her original dancers, and which was her technique, which was karate, was one of the classes that she taught. So that's how, and when my agent called me, and of course they knew I danced, but they didn't know that I did karate. And I told them I did Haitian karate, which was lagya, which was without without shoes, bare feet and bare hands. And so they said, okay, and then you have this interview for this role for the James Bond movie. And I didn't know what he was talking about because I never heard of James Bond. I never saw a James Bond movie. I didn't know who Sean Connery was, but I knew that everything that they sent me up for was top of the list. And all the TV shows I did, all the specials were, the top. So I said, yeah, I'd love to, go up for it. And so I did. And the first interview was just like a round table, sort of was actually like an oblong table. And of course, Cubby was there and the director and a few other people. And I think Bob was there, the stunt man.
Mhm.
And they just interviewed me, just like, you are now about, my dance career and all that, what I've done. And then my second interview was the screen test of, me speaking, not with Sean. He wasn't Sir yet.
Yeah.
But not with Sean. And then they asked me to come back and to do movement. So I just did, I did movement, did whatever. What I felt that the character, would need no music or anything. He said that they were going to use music. I said, no, that's okay. I just choreographed something. And I did everything.
Yeah, that's again,
I just did everything.
it's truly a whirlwind of how things worked out, and that's what leads me to my next question. You probably landed your biggest role as Thumper in Diamonds Are Forever. What was the experience like working with Guy Hamilton, Cubby Broccoli, Harry Saltzman, and how did you actually get approached for the casting of Thumper?
Being approached, I briefly said that my agents, when my manager at the time that I was introduced to, actually through some dancer friends of mine, a lady, she was just wonderful. She actually invited all of these, different agents that I knew no one. Of course, I came from New York, knew none of these agents in LA, the talent agencies, William Morris, Cunningham, I ended up signing commercials with, but agency for APA, Cunningham, and William Morris were there to see my show. And so they were all interested, but she felt that I should sign with APA. Being new, APA was still big, big names were with them. In fact, Pam Grier was the only other Black actor in the agency. There was no other Black actress in the agency, and she was just an actress. She wasn't a singer or a dancer. So signing me, they could book me for different shows, which they did, TV shows, singing and all of that too, and dancing and stuff like that. So I signed with them, and there Marty Klein, who originally was my agent, then became the president of the agency, did call me about that that the James Bond people had come in from England and wanted to see me for this role. And I was very, very happy about it. But like, again, it was the role I felt I love the role, but I was not so excited about Bond because I didn't know, it was just doing another job, and the part I liked, I had worked with several well-known, names in the business, actors and actresses. So it wasn't the big thing that, Sean Connery, plus I didn't know who he was. So, but it was a wonderful wonderful, wonderful shoot. Cubby and Sir Broccoli and Sir Guy Hamilton was just wonderful with me. Um, Before we and Sean and I were staying at the same hotel, and a day or so before before I had I had to go on the set that day. He had asked me to come to breakfast so he would meet me before we got on the set, which I thought was really such a wonderful gesture, you know. So we spoke a little bit at the restaurant before they picked me up. We had a great time on the set, and like I said, I didn't know him, and he I don't know if he knew me or not, or knew of things I've done, but I had never seen him before, and it wasn't like these days where you could go on the phone or something and look up. I couldn't do that. I didn't have any kind of time to go to the library and go. I didn't even have because I was staying with a friend. I didn't have a what do you call a VHS? I don't know if she had a VHS, but I never saw any of his movies, anything. So I was like, it was like I did any kind of the Broadway shows or any shows that I did. I didn't know a lot of some actors that I worked with. Never, some of them I didn't see any of their shows. So it was
pretty much a complete blind eye, like saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, I've never seen any of your work before." But at the same time, you got to play it cool. Hey, you're Sean Connery. It's a pleasure to work with you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even say that. I just was like he was another dance partner to me.
Absolutely, and that's a good way to look at it. And
I mean, there's some dances, you meet from when you first come to, after you're cast in a company, and you come and you meet new dancers, and hi, how you doing? Fine, good. We're gonna work together. That's absolutely. That's the way it was to me, and we had a great time working together. Okay, afterwards,
and it sure looks like it when you guys when that iconic scene of you and Lola Larson are trying to kill him. So
right. And people were saying to him, it was good that maybe you didn't know, but it to me, the way I am, it wouldn't have made a difference either, because I'm not that way. It's like, oh, Sean Connery, he's James Bond. That's not me. It's never been me, because I work with so many people, and even before that. And so it's just not that way. I have it's my character, and doesn't matter who you were. This is my character, and this is the way I'm playing it, and that's who I am. It doesn't matter. I have to play the same way that I would play, whether you were just someone that came in and was sweeping the floors, or taking the garbage out, or you the star of the movie. Didn't matter to me. I treat you the same way, with respect.
Okay? And that's how it should always be. And
that's the way it always be, and that's the way I was brought up. My father, So, but we had a great time, and like there's some of the pictures that I have, I had been sent in the years after, after I was asked to do some, autograph shows, and I was like, wow, because the photographer was on the set every day, practically all day, and some of the pictures when did you get that, and when did I do that? Because I have the picture where I have my hand on Sean's side of his head or something, and I was like, what? And he's just sitting there.
Now, was that Terry O'Neill that was on set, or was that somebody else?
I don't remember the name of the photographer, but I know that everyone that I worked with there, who I'd never met before, was just wonderful. And I was only Black person on that set, complete, all of you, and it was like didn't make a difference.
And you broke the barriers.
Yeah, I didn't
for
know that.
future Bond. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm talking
I
about
didn't know
for
that until
starting with Live and Let Die, and then moving on
yeah.
forward of the franchise.
Right,
Who
right.
would have thought that your character set it up to be that way?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I had
Uh,
no idea.
my next question is actually, with the press always saying Sean looked gloomy on set, did you see any of that by any chance?
That he was gloomy.
Yeah, he didn't want that he wasn't happy or anything like that.
No, it wasn't that. He was just a lot of times quiet. He was just
Okay.
quiet. You know, I know that he wanted to. He liked to do. He liked the script. He
Yeah.
enjoyed that. Yeah, he did like the script. I don't know if he had something he was going to do right afterwards, you know, and he was thinking about, but no, I didn't find that, you know.
Okay.
To me, he wasn't that way to me.
Well,
But
that
I know that I know he enjoyed it.
yeah, you could tell that I know he appreciated diamonds to the
Uh-huh.
but again, press these days and back
I
then
don't
they were always portraying saying no, he wasn't happy because he was pretty much forced to come back and
please. He was he was paid what he asked for, what, you know.
Mhm.
He came back because he was, you know, he didn't want to come back at first, right?
Yeah.
But he asked for what he got for what he asked for, and he came back,
Well,
you
that's
know.
good.
Yeah, and that's it.
Uh
I mean, he didn't do anything that other actors have not done in the past or haven't done in the future, you know.
you and Lowell Larson worked together as Bambi and Thumper. Originally they had Donna Garrett lined up.
Yeah.
Did you shoot with Donna at all, or did they
No,
turn to Lola and you were asked to come on set?
no, she was there for just a couple of days. Till today, I have no idea. Of course, no one would tell me unless I heard people talking, and you know that they wouldn't do that. You know, it's Europeans are very, very, you know, um, respectable. I would say a little different from, you know, us Americans, where we might talk about things and, you know, in front of people, but they don't. And so no, I don't know why. I have a feeling it's because Donna, they wanted to do a few things that Lola, which is not really her name, but that
Oh, really?
Lola,
I did actually not know that.
no, yeah, um, that she did, because she wasn't an actor. She was in the Olympics, and
Mhm.
she did that Tab Hartley. That was her first and only film, because she was not in show business at all.
Mhm.
And but what they wanted was, as you saw, that she did a lot of those Olympic things that she did.
Mhm.
Um, and obviously, possibly Donna couldn't, you know, most likely didn't do what they actually want her to do, because she did all that, you know, Bambi did all those things in the air, and I stayed on the ground.
Yeah. And you both brought your own twist and flavor to it.
Yeah, right. And she
So,
was quite young. She was probably 16. No, I don't think 17, 16, 17, somewhere around there. Yeah.
are they both of? Have you kept in contact with both of them at all over the years, or?
No, I haven't at all, actually. And Donna, I haven't seen at all since. We were more so in age range. So excuse me, we talked more when she was there, uh, about, you know, things. But Bambi, being our ages were so different. I was in, you know, my early 20s, and she was just, you know,
Yeah.
16, 17. So we didn't have too much to say. And of course, I had been in show business, you know, since I was 14, 15. So her 2 years almost younger than she was. So it was a little different. She might have been a little intimidated too, but we still got along, because I knew who, that she was young, and I didn't want her to feel that, even though I was sort of like the leader of the whole thing, of our of our bodyguard,
hmm
thing. Uh, it was yeah, but she did, she did a good job, and we worked fine together. Um, and what was the question you asked me about? Had I
It,
seen?
yeah.
Yeah, I did see 2 years ago now. There was a big event, um, a fundraiser in San Francisco,
Okay.
and I Maud Adams, um, uh, who else is it? I'm Maud Adams. Oh, and George Lazenby. And I think, well, I know that um, Lana was invited, but she couldn't make it for some reason. I think she was doing a film or doing something that she couldn't make it. But also, Bambi's name is really Mary. Uh, I don't really pronounce her last name, but I don't. She really doesn't want to be known.
Yeah.
She's been in the medical field, so of course, since she came out of the Olympics. She's been a very, very well known, very high position in the medical field, and that's where she's been. Her daughter and her son was there, so I met them. But that's the way, she's one of, because many years, since I've done shows and all that, were asked, about Bambi, and people wanted to find her, but she's not wanting to do that because that's not her thing. It never was. She just did that film for that time. How they found her or whatever, I don't know. I don't know. They might have just seen her or wanted just, it was, well, let's see someone that's in the Olympics or whatever. I don't know that. But I must say I am writing a book. It's my
Oh,
autobiography.
fantastic.
And all of that and more, and more details are in that book. And of course, that's my longest chapter is Diamonds Off Ever. So, a lot of that is in that.
So is this where I pry and ask, so when do you think we could potentially get this slated and see on shelves?
I am. I do have some help. I have a literary agent. I don't have a literary, but an agent was introduced to me that for one of the James Bond writers book that has a book out,
Okay.
a book out some years ago. He introduced me to his literary agent, and she was very interested. And she said, "Please do, when you finish it, of course, I'll be very interested in reading it." People there, I have several friends in the Ian Foundation organization that will have been and will be helpful to me in promoting it and all. My drawback has been two things. I moved, and I had a hand operation this past year. I just moved about 3 months ago, so it's put me back 3 months at least. So now that I had wanted it the end of last year to the beginning of this, it's now going to be probably the near to the end of of this year.
Have you came up with any titles yet?
Yeah, I have a working title of they call me Thumper, but I'm not.
That's a catchy name. I like it.
Yeah, I kind of like, and I question it too, because I know that James Bond people will know. I'm just, and I will have a little caption of course, who I am, that has to be out there or on the front or something, the cover, this is, who I am too. So we'll see. I have two other names. I had also from Harlem to Hollywood. I also had my first James Bond woman villain. So we'll see what's more catchy.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. Whatever the agent says, I think this
Yeah.
is what's going to stand out the most, and then we'll put that on the title, and we will pray that it will sell.
Right. Yeah, but I know they wanted to try to get it out for this 50th, and that was my only thing. Oh my gosh! So I'm trying to, in a way, this pandemic is. It's almost kind of good for me because I have to stay here. Otherwise, I'm always gone. I'm always doing autograph shows here and there or performances. And it has taken me away from home a lot. Now I'm here and I can write, at least twice a day.
So it probably is nice to have the downtime, and especially like you said, it probably has helped you out in the long run too, hasn't it?
Yeah. So it's been. So I'm trying to do catch up. Like I was writing a little before the call, and then I'll have something to eat or so, and then I'll write again this evening because I have a pretty full weekend coming up. Coming up too. But I write every night. I try to write practically every night.
Well, that's good. Is that what keeps you busy during this pandemic, you would say? Or are you trying to do other things during it?
Yeah. That's basically what has too. Absolutely. And I'm also going to start with two, definitely one of my dance students. I'm going to start teaching Zoom her Graham the Graham class over Zoom.
Oh wow,
she doesn't know Graham at all, so we're just going to start on the basic, beginner's Graham. And I have a couple of other students that want to join in. I have no idea how you do that. Because they're young people, they're gonna tell me how they can join in, or they could see me.
You're gonna have to just go with the fly and hope it all works out in the long run, right?
Yeah. So I have that, and then another lady who's actually a dancer I worked with and did some choreography for. I'm going to do some choreography. She's a white young lady, but she wants to do a tribute to her black sisters, and so there's a song by Nina Simone that I gave her.
Oh, nice.
That she's starting to work on now, so we're gonna work on that. So I'm gonna work on that. So,
well, you definitely got your hands full.
Yeah,
and it's like I said, maybe it's a good thing that you've had all this downtime with the pandemic and not having to go to autograph shows and such, and you get to focus on your dancing stuff.
Right. So I'm gonna do that, and one more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have one more student too. She wants to do something, but I'm gonna have to wait. She's gonna have to wait a while. She's a dancer too, so she can catch up quickly when I do that. So yeah.
So with Daniel Craig for his last turn as James Bond in No Time to Die, what are your thoughts on with Shauna Lynch playing 007, or have you seen any of Daniel's other 007 films?
I have seen him, in other films, which I like. I like him very much as an actor. Yes. Of course, I've only seen a little bit of the No Time in, the trailers. But yeah, I'm really hoping. This is terrible that they had to push it back, push it up to
October.
What did they say now, to April? What is it?
Yeah, they've delayed it from April to October.
October now. Okay, I can't keep up with it. It's That's too bad. Yeah, with this whole thing with the whole, movies not being, in theaters, and the young people and Broadway not performing, is just, I just feel hurt, so hurt for them,
Yeah.
just thinking of back when I was, doing Broadway and dancing and all. If this had happened then, oh my God, because I danced every day.
Yeah.
I mean, every day. Sundays, sometimes I would go to church, but I would take a little time to go to church, but then like afternoon, I would go down to the village and take a class at the Graham School.
Oh wow.
It was, yeah. So anyway, but I am so glad to see that Lashana, well, she's getting that, the 007. I don't think she's keeping the number. And I know she's not going to be playing 007. I think she's getting that
The famous number.
that agent, or be that, have that number. So that's what we'll see during the movie. But it's wonderful to see a few of the of people of color in the movie. But the Bond franchise has been that way since almost day one, about about casting people of color.
Mm-hmm.
Way different from us.
Yeah.
The U.S. casting, and it not only with people of color, but also age. They cast older men and women more than the U.S. does. Now, I think, I don't know, for some reason their minds are more open. I've been performing in Europe a few times. I've toured with dance companies a few times around the world, and the Europeans and Asians, they appreciate seeing us as Black people, just to appreciate us.
Mm-hmm.
Not because we have a certain name, or it's because they just appreciate the talent. And that's what I have seen, which is a difference of how we appreciate our own Americans, our own people. Because we need, you have to have a certain name, so to do a certain thing. And I think it's a little different with people out of the United States. And that's why, a lot of times when I did a couple of tours, my first big tour was with Donnie's company, and we did, and that was before the wall came down, and we were over on the eastern side. We were invited to do the concert over there in Berlin, in East Berlin, and Germany, and well, with restrictions, we couldn't go out the hotel by ourselves and things like that. But it was open to, and then in the 80s, there was a concert where I was featured dancer singer in, and the company was all about dance history, from African dance to present, which was late 80s. And we did maybe a couple of concerts in the States and all over Europe. Just loved and they were wonderful. The dancers were just wonderful, and they appreciated them. But could Chester get booked in the States like we did in Europe? No. And the gentleman who booked us was the original impresario or manager for the oh my gosh, the gospel group back in the 40s and 50s that went over to Europe. and they sang all over black gospel. I just had it. The Jubilee Singers, and there was another group, but because he had those singers, it was booked. Those singers, the same people, basically, booked us, the dance company, and I sang too. So I just wish it's happening a little bit better here in the States for us, for people of color. But as I said, the Bond franchise has, from the beginning with Dr. No, they had the black actor. I think he's gone.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what's his name?
I know who you're talking about, but I just can't remember the name right now. And I know people,
I think he would.
Listeners of mine are going to be like, "How did he not remember that?"
Yeah, and but I mean, and they've had a Japanese and that Korean, and and then of course myself, and then
Jeffrey. The list goes on.
Joffrey and Gloria Hendry after me 2 years later, where she played a love interest with Roger. Roger Moore was such a great person. He was so nice. God bless him.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine what it would have been like. He's definitely been one of the persons that I would have loved to meet.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of people in this beloved franchise that are fans. We all talk about who's the one Bond that you would invite to dinner, and he's always at the top of the list where we would love to chat with.
I can understand. Now the thing about the Bond from all over, from Europe, all over where I've been, and to here in the United States, the main one that I get the comment of, that people like, and that's male and female, is Sean Connery. And then the next one is Roger. But the one that I would say, 40, maybe 40 and younger, 45 and younger, they're more into Roger and Pierce, because that's who they more so grew up with too. Yeah, they know of Sean Connery, because I also, it was so funny too about filming. I don't know if you were going to ask me that question, but filming was so different then. Because my scene
I was actually going to ask you. So what was it filming with Sean? What was it like from filming on set with Sean compared to being off set with Sean?
With Sean. With Sean, it was fun. Both. I mean, we had the same rapport off the set as we did on the set. He was very, very much a gentleman to me. I know he said something that was a little controversial about women or whatever, but at that time, this was before he said it. And I didn't know anything about it, of course. Well, he didn't say it yet.
Yeah.
But he was very respectful to me, and he's very nice to me. And like I said, he was like a dance partner that I hadn't met before.
Well, like we said, I should say, like I said earlier, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't get that over that starstruck. Like, I'm so excited. Sir Sean Connery. Oh wait, at that time he wasn't knighted yet, but you're Sean Connery. Like,
right?
You should just be shaking his hand. Nice to meet you, Sean. My name is Trina.
Right. And what he did was just so wonderful to invite me to the little mini breakfast before they picked me up to go on the set. Right. I thought that was really nice to get that out of the way. I don't know if he probably he didn't know anything about me not knowing him, or maybe he feeling that I might have known him and wanted me to feel more comfortable with him, but I was.
And that's fantastic.
But it was just wonderful, that he did that, and I always appreciate that. I always appreciate that, and I always give him whenever I'm speaking about it. I give him that credit, and I also, as I have, give my teacher, Catherine Dunham, and the choreographer, that credit for teaching me, what she did, and making me helping me be such a strong dancer, and teaching me the karate to be able to have gotten the role
Now, as
that
a
way.
former resident of the Palm Springs area before you moved,
Oh
did you
yeah.
go visit the Elrod house at all before leaving, or did you
Oh
visit
my
years
goodness.
past?
Yes, when I was there between end of '02 to uh, uh 15, end of 15, when I moved to Atlanta, when my daughter was already living. Um, I was in the Follies, the Palm Springs Follies. I was the first African American performer in the Follies for those 6 years or so. And during that time, I met the owner. It was two owners. I think I met the first one, so it was there, and then the second one was there that I met until pretty much just before I left. He had sold it. Michael was really nice guy. And throughout the years I was there, they had several events there, that I was invited to. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I was there several times. And not last year, what is it? 20, no, 20 was 19. Yeah. 2019, when I was there, I went up there, just went up, because I I was just checking to see if the present owner was there, and he wasn't, because I wanted to meet him, and the guard was there at the gate, and was that when I drove up, he said, you know, he knew who I was, um, he remembered the film and all of that, and he said he definitely would. I gave him my card, and he said he would give the designer. I don't remember his name. You might know who it is, but he's a
Oh,
designer.
I did some research on it, and now
Okay.
I just wish I jotted down the notes now
Yeah.
of who designed it, but
Yeah. So
it's not
he's
springing on me, unfortunately.
he's the since I had moved there, he's the only designer. He's the only owner that I didn't know.
And the rock is still in there, if I remember correctly, correct?
Oh, of course, yeah. The house was made out of that rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and where we dive at that last scene, that is rock. And then I tell people too, so the young people, I said that is not plastic. That's not rubber. That's a real rock.
Yeah.
That is a real rock that I'm on, and those rocks around the pool are real rocks. And that's one reason why I didn't dive, even though I really don't dive that well. But I couldn't dive anyway, because I'm with Screen Actors Guild, and that's very dangerous. Anything happened, I hit
Absolutely.
my foot or anything, could have. That's
A
that's the
dancer's
movie I would
feet are
have.
as important as a basketball player's feet, and so,
No, anything. So I couldn't do that anyway. So, but young people are very surprised, and no digital, for my phone. I did this series called To Tell the Truth here, a TV show that's been around since I think it was the 50s here, TV show, since black and white TV. And one of the people, and I was the real person, of course, and then they had two white ladies on either side of me, and asking them, because they had to pick who was the real James Bond woman. And I was told at first that they were going to have three black ladies, which would have been actually harder. But all of these, again, all of the people on the panel were all in their 40s, early to mid to late 40s. So, like, again, they are more into the later Bond movies, right? And so when they asked me, and Nishi asked me, she said, "Well, how long did you film, the movie?" And I said, about 2 weeks. And they like, they couldn't believe, of course, I was, when we went through it earlier, the rehearsals and all that, I was told, don't give too much information, just answer it, directly and all that. I said, yeah, okay. But
I was going to say, did you have to sign an NDA back in the day?
What do you mean?
A non-disclosure agreement when you were filming Diamonds for your role? Did you have to say you can't speak on behalf of like what your role is, or?
Oh no! Oh yeah! No, I didn't. No, I don't know what. No, I didn't have to. I didn't sign anything like that.
Okay. I'm going to wrap up on these final questions, Trina. Do you ever wish you got approached to do another James Bond film?
I sure did. I would have, and I don't think it's too late. Whenever we start doing films again.
Right.
But I've been asked about that too. It would be nice to have the Bond women that are still alive to at least be featured in cameos or something in other films. I think it's a very good idea. Would love to.
Are you close with any former co-stars of Diamonds or alums of the other James Bond films?
Well, I was close to Gloria Hendry way before we did the Bond films. We knew each other. Only other person that I kind of not really close, but we've become good friends is Lana Wood from Diamonds, and George Lazenby, and we've all done a lot of the shows together. Been in England a couple times, and different shows around. So we've become friends.
And go ahead.
And Bruce, oh God, what's wrong with my head? Who played Mr. Wint? He was my teacher. He was my acting teacher before I did the film.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Bruce Glover, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I had no idea he was even in the film until I saw it.
Until you actually saw it. Did you actually attend the screening of Diamonds?
Yeah, I did in Los Angeles.
Okay. Did you get to keep anything from your time being on the set of Diamonds?
Nothing.
They
took my two-piece. By the time it was gone. Somebody.
Do you wish you were able to keep anything from your time?
What's what?
Do you wish you were able to keep anything from your time?
I do. I wish I had. Yeah, I wish I had kept it because they had two different costumes. But no, I wasn't able to keep it. I didn't. It was gone. By the time I was getting ready to get dressed and everything, they were packing up. So
that's a bummer.
Yeah, it is. And then I was kind of, I didn't even ask about anything too. And I was getting ready to go back to New York to do a play. So that was on my mind. Get into rehearsal. I had no idea about being the first black woman or anything like that. I was just doing a movie.
Well, I want to say thank you so much, Trina, for taking the time to doing this interview with me. And I hope you continue to stay safe and healthy during this pandemic and continue to keep on doing what you're passionate about. And I want to say to anybody out there listening, stay tuned and stay looking out for Trina's book that will be hitting shelves whenever it does. And any closing thoughts or anything you want to say, Trina, before we sign off?
Well, I thank you also, and I'm so very blessed, so very proud to be a part of this wonderful, wonderful franchise of the James Bond franchise. And I wish you also the best to stay safe and stay well, as I do all. And I will definitely, you will know when my autobiography comes out, and I am pushing towards this year.
So, well, Once again, thank you very much, Trina. It was a real honor of talking with you today.
Same here. Take care.